like to talk a little bit about what it was like when I was first diagnosed, and how I can best describe it is I felt it was like an estrangement, like an alienation from how I had normally felt. I didn't feel connected. I didn't feel connected to anything or anybody, and it was a very frightening feeling. And I didn't feel like I had any supports around me to help me through this. I came to the crossroads where I needed to make a decision on whether to live or whether to die. And I looked for the smallest glimpses of hope that would encourage me to move forward for the next day. And there was times like I was so estranged from my body in the community, like I could not even feel warm summer breezes go against my body because I had something weird tactile going on. I couldn't even feel those types of things. But when I began to like if a stranger would smile at me, or if a baby in a carriage and a mother would look at me and smile at me, that just made me feel so good, and that would give me hope to go forward with the next day, because I knew the next day was gonna be difficult as well. But gradually, these moments or these glimpses of hope that I got from around me, strangers, got wider and wider, where I would have 15 minutes in a day of enjoyment, and then I would have a half hour, and then an hour, and then it would just increase where my whole life was not suffering, and I would actually begin to have a purpose. And when I was going to college at the University of Massachusetts at the time in Boston, I walked into the German lounge. I was studying European history, and I met who eventually was going to be my wife, Ellen, who was sitting there. Everything I've been through, and now all of a sudden it's like an angel drops into my life. And my wife has, I choke up every time I say this, she has been by my side. It hasn't been easy. I've been back into the hospital and all that stuff, but I haven't been in the hospital in a long time, and she's been by my side that entire time, despite, believe it or not, discouragement from social workers and psychiatrists saying that she ought to leave me because there isn't much hope for me, and, why is she in this relationship? But my wife, she stood by me. We've been married since 1984 and going out since 1978, so we're going on 30 years. Other important aspects in my recovery have obviously been work. Work is huge to me, because when I'm not working, that's when I start filling things in with my mind. I start creating substitutes for a life if I don't have a life. And that's when I begin to become, I guess, what they call delusional, like I think I'm somebody else and all that stuff. So when I'm working and I have a purpose and I have an intention to my life, that's very helpful. And a huge aspect of work that's helpful for me is giving back to other people when it isn't about me, when I'm able to give back, when I'm able to use all the good, the bad, and the ugly that I have been through in my life to give back to other people. That's very empowering, and that's very helpful, and that's very hopeful for me, and it's also, I can see that it's very hopeful for the people that, that I help.